Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 20 MTV Live Trading. My name is Gino. I'm a student with 20 Minute Trader. Welcome. Super excited to be here as I am every night. While we're waiting for others to join, please type in the comment section where you're watching from. I'm trading from Ohio. Another cold and gloomy day. Seems like I repeat that every time I come on these streams. But yeah, let me know where you're watching from, how new you are to trading, if you're brand new, experienced, inexperienced. And I like to see that. Keep everything at a high level. I do my best to do that and kind of explain what we're doing and how I'm trading and all that. So first Hello, first time watch. Thank you for being here. Texas. Outstanding. New Jersey. Welcome. Brand new. Awesome. Look, all right, somebody's already typing in learn. So if you type learn in the comment section, if you have Facebook, Instagram, you get a free ticket to the web class where you can register, get all your questions answered live, and see if there's something for you. I'll do my best to answer the questions that you have if you put them in the comment section. Amarillo, Texas, Oregon. I almost entered a trade too just before I got on. Almost. It was close. I didn't get the meaningful drop I wanted. I'll talk about that in a second. What's up? How you doing? How's it going? How's it going, Jay Murray? Maury, I think. All right, awesome. So quick disclosure real quick. This is for informational, educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Trading is risky, and I am trading at my own risk. Thank you all for being here. I'm a student with 20 Minute Trader. Been a student now for a little bit over a year. Jeremy Russell, the founder of 20 Minute Trader, asked me to come on and do trading. Do this every night, Monday through Thursday. I'm here 7 p.m. Eastern. Kai is Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, and Lance is Monday through Friday at 3:30 Eastern. So maybe more, but we do these every day. I don't trade on Friday night because the futures market is closed, and I'll get into that in a little bit later. So everybody, we're looking at a chart here. And so if some of you have never traded before, you're brand new, you may not know what this is. This is TradingView. It's a super popular trading platform. You can practice trading on it. You can actually trade funded accounts, challenge accounts. I'm actually trading a funded account. You can see down here, I have been trading a funded account. I'll get into that too. And what you're looking at is what's called a 1 second chart. And we trade on a 1 second chart. 20 Minute Traders, myself included, all of our students, all of us trade on a 1 second chart, meaning that it updates every 1 second as opposed to every 5 seconds or every minute. Those of you that are trading or experienced in trading or just started trading probably don't trade on a 1 second chart. Typically trade on a longer time frame, but we trade on a 1 second chart because when we want to enter a trade, when we see our entry point, we pretty much have 1 to 3 seconds to place our trade. Sometimes a little longer, but it's usually not that. It's usually pretty fast, right? It's pretty quick, and our trade is usually done in 1 to 2 minutes. Depends on the time frame we're trading. What I mean by that is tonight, a little slower volume, so the trades may take a little bit longer during the day. It's typically 1 minute or less. We also trade with line charts. The reason why we use line charts is because we're looking for a gold pattern. I'm trading a simplified version of that tonight, but it's shape based. The lines allow us to see the pattern a lot easier than candles. Candles, you've seen the candles on trading with little boxes with little strings hanging out. Those are the candles. So we're using line charts. So 1 second chart, line charts. And I'm trading a simplified version of the gold pattern that I always trade every time I come out here. It's a proprietary pattern discovered by Jeremy Russell, the founder of 20 Minute Trader. He discovered the pattern in 2021. It's undergone millions of tests and is subjected to thousands of trader research and clinical trials. It's exclusively to 20 Minute Trader students and those involved with 20 Minute Trader. It's about a 5-hour video course with detailed visuals, drills, and other things to help the trader, help you learn how to set up and understand charts, trading platforms, and how to strengthen the probability of a solid, successful trade. So, for example, those who've never traded before, this chart's probably intimidating or a little overwhelming. It was for me when I first started trading, right? Super intimidating. And so it kind of gave me cause to pause when I first started. So the cool thing about being a 20 Minute Trader is they also have chart sessions inside the 20 Minute Trader Club where you can go 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, where a mentor is in there waiting for people to join, to help get their chart set up. It's like this, to help negotiate their charts, ask questions about it, and so forth. It's pretty cool. So you're going to notice 3 lines here on this chart. All we're looking at is the relationship of these 3 lines. The blue line is the instrument I'm trading. That's the value of gold. And actually, 1 second here. Nope. Thought I may have some. The blue line is the value of gold. It's the instrument I'm trading. Whichever way the blue line is facing, that's the way we're going to be trading. The orange line is a comparison index. It's the Dow Jones. It's going to help us predict which way the blue line is going to move. And so the orange line is, as like I said, it's the Dow Jones, which is the value of the average stock price of the 30 largest companies by industry, such as Home Depot, Nike. What we're looking for is we're looking for a divergence or separation between the blue line and the orange line. We want them both going in different directions. Doesn't matter which way they're going, but whatever way the blue line is facing, or whether up or down, that's the way we're going to be trading. So the blue line is our direction, but nothing can happen until there's a divergence or separation between these two lines right here. Looks like we're getting one a little bit here. So we want a divergence. If the blue line's pointing up, we're going to trade in that direction. Up is a buy. If the blue line is pointing down and the orange line is pointing up, we're going to trade down. That's a sell. Next is our relative strength index, right? You see that white line down here. Relative strength index, or RSI, is essentially the strength of the movement of the blue line, which is the instrument we're trading. It's essentially mathematical, but it takes the movements over a period of time. So for example, if there's 20 movements upward and 20 movements downward, but the 20 movements upward were stronger and bigger, then you would see this white line appear in this upper half, which you're starting to see now, right above this midline. And vice versa. If the 20 movements downward were bigger and stronger, you would see the movements of this white line. You would see the white line down here below this midline. This is our entry point. What I mean by that blue line is facing up right now, right? So we would trade up. We're looking for a meaningful drop down of that blue line to enter, right? So what we want is we want a meaningful movement of that white line, to drop in the opposite direction that we're trading. So if we're trading up, we want essentially a drop here, essentially a discount. If we're trading down, if this was reversed, we would want a meaningful pop up of this white line to trade back down. So whichever way that blue line is facing, we have our divergence. Whichever way the blue line is facing, that's the direction we're going. This up here tells us the where. Down here, this tells us when. So the blue line's facing up. We want a meaningful movement down of this white line to trade up. If this blue line was facing down, we would want a meaningful movement up of this white line. And that's all we're looking at, the relationship of these three lines. That's all we look at to enter a trade. That's it. So may have had something there. Didn't get too much of a drop down there. That is somewhat subjective. Last night, if you're with me last night, there were humongous movements. So I was waiting for a big movement of this white line before I entered a trade. Not at first I didn't, but my last two trades I did, and they worked out pretty well. So that's what we're looking for. Thank you all for being here. If you have questions, put them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. Hello, Erica. Hi, Jesse. The other thing I look at, so when I'm trading on the 1 second chart, the other thing I like to do is I like to look at the overall trend. So I zoom out to the 5 second chart and you can see it's heading up big time. And you can go farther out to the 10 second chart if you'd like. Right, which really kind of, I just auto click there, kind of just shows you, see how it's kind of trended up, has been trending up lately. So looking for that a little bit of a divergence here. I'd like to see a little bit more of a movement. And oh, by the way, these lines here, these directional lines, these trend lines are proprietary lines for 20-minute traders, specifically those trading the gold pattern. They do obviously help. Pretty cool. They really kind of make the divergence if there is one stick out. And that's what we have here. My dog's snoring. I am trading gold. Blue line is the value of gold. It's an instrument I am trading. Orange line's flat. Blue line's heading up here, looking for that meaningful drop down to enter a trade. May not get it. If we don't get that drop, that's okay. We want, look, we're process dependent, not outcome dependent. So we want to stick to that. Last night it worked out pretty well. Again, the movements were pretty big last night. So I am adjusting kind of, in trade as I trade based on the size of movements from yesterday and the day before and so forth. You are welcome. Hag Andrew said, wow, that's it. Not sure what you're referring to. You mean what we're looking for? Is that what you're referring to? What we're looking for to trade? Maybe. Last night I saw 4 pretty good setups. I typically see 4 to 6 throughout the course of being out here at night at 7 o'clock, which isn't bad. You know, again, it depends on when you trade, what time of the day you trade, the volume and so forth, how many setups you see, etc. Can I do this on my phone? If so, what app? I've never done it on the phone. I like to have when I first started trading, I had a laptop that only had a laptop, right? And then I added an external screen. I've never traded on the phone. I don't think I want to. I think it's just too small. I'm not sure how, but I think you can. I've never done it though. I think you can. H-Town, when is the best time to trade? Oof. Really is going to depend on you once you start trading, right? So I'm trading on the futures market. A couple difference between the stock market and the futures market. The stock market's open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4 p.m. The futures market is open Sunday night at 6 to Friday at 4:30. Essentially, it's closed like an hour Monday through Friday for maintenance, but essentially it's open 23 hours. So you can trade it multiple times throughout the day. It gives you the flexibility based on your schedule, based on life's hurdles, kids, family, etc. It allows you to do that. So you'll have to find a time that fits within your schedule, that you're comfortable and that you get used to a certain time. Obviously, different times have different volumes, so you'd have to get used to that. But it's really kind of what's best for you, what's the best time for you, and how you feel. So I got that movement down, and so I entered here. I was a little bit late in the entry. You see I have a take profit order here. I have a take stop loss essentially order there. Basically, what that means is a predefined order to get out of the trade for up here or down here. This box tells me where I sit as far as what it's doing. If it goes to 00, I'm at break even. If I hit this X here, I exit out with whatever is in that box, with whatever's I exit the trade with whatever amount is in that box. So this is my entry here. I can move these here. These brackets I can move. And so I am in the trade. So I did a buy. I got the meaningful drop down here. I was a little late in that entry when I entered my trade, but I got the meaningful drop down, and now we'll see what happens. So if it's at 00, I'm in break even. That means break even is the point of the trade where I entered. What app is this on this? This is Trading View. I just went to the website. It's not the app on the desktop. It is small on the phone. Moving a little slower tonight than last night. So you see right now, it's kind of just hovering right here around this line. We'll see what happens. The big movement. Patience, right? Patience. Definitely moving slower than yesterday. I'm going to squeeze this down, my take profit down a little bit, just based on the movements, based on the distance, right? Never know what you're going to get when you come out and trade. We never know which way it's going to go, but we always want to try to trade in probabilities. And it's the reason why we look at the relationship between the three lines. And I'm trading a simplified version of the gold pattern when I am out here, and we'll see what happens. Patience too, right? And so right now it looks like it's coming up a little bit. You can see again here right now I'm minus 20, right? And you can also see that down here as well. Money says, I see it is small on the phone, and thank you. You're welcome. Definitely much slower tonight. So I have to adjust for that. Much slower. Movements aren't quite as big as yesterday. And when I say yesterday, they were just one movements, right? They weren't a couple of movements. They were just kind of one movements. But I am going to squeeze this a little bit more because you can see it reached this distance here. I want to be within range or distance. Those of you that were with me yesterday, you can definitely see the difference, I hope, right? And it's so slow today. Yes, it is, Plumley. So slow. Much slower than yesterday, and it's been much slower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze these. Once it comes up here, I will squeeze up a little bit if it comes up, right? Right now I'm down 25. Wow. And question a little bit ago, what's the best time to trade? You know, this is something you'll have to understand and work with, right? It does change. Like yesterday was so much bigger and faster. Today's slower. You'll get a little bit more consistency probably during the day. It would be more, it would be faster, probably more consistent as far as movements. Yesterday and today are completely different. And so you do have to adjust during your trading. And I am adjusting. I know that now. So I will adjust accordingly. And I'll let you know how I'm going to adjust. I'll probably end up moving these brackets farther. It's like stagnant that way. There you can see it. So I'm down to 50 now. It looks like it's heading down. We'll see. We'll see. Comfortable with my risk though, and we'll move on to look for another setup, and we'll adjust. If it does hit whether it hits my take profit, it comes up and hits my take profit or my stop loss, you just have to adjust. Wow. So slow. And there it did. Okay. So we will regroup that movement there, and we'll look for another. Right now, it's goal and proper trade is 100. Let's see. All right. We'll look for another setup here. Now look at that big movement. You got the big movement down. Big time. Look at that. I'll go back out to the 5-second chart. Look at that. Yep, there's the movement I was talking about yesterday. What's your basic rules for entering and exiting a trade, or more specifically, determine where you set your stop loss? So essentially, I have I set my take profit and my stop loss are 100, 100. I set them 2 points away, essentially from my entry. So if I enter here, my take profit's up here, 2 points away, and my stop loss, if it's a buy, is 2 points away. And my rules is really I typically set it and let it. I did adjust there because of the movement was so slow, but normally I just set it and let it go. Yeah. Crazy. This is what makes it fun and interesting. Taking a long, yes, it is, Erica. Very, very, very. So we have to adjust. Now you see I have this orange line was flat, right? And you had that up and then kind of hovered here. I thought I had enough pressure to get up, but never know which way it's going to go. And then it kind of just, boom, shot down. That's okay. I limit myself to 4 trades per session. I've only made 1. Yesterday, I think I did end up making 4. I hit 2. I lost 2. So I was 2 and 2. And see if we can get another setup, get a couple more in. Right now, we kind of have parallel lines. That orange line kind of jumped in with the blue line. Yeah, so, okay. I will adjust my take profit. My next, if I get another opportunity to enter a trade. If any of this interests you, if you're on YouTube, click the link in the description. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, type learn in the comment section. We'll send you a free ticket to the web class where you can click it, register, and watch the web class and get all your questions answered live. Thank you for being here. Super slow night tonight compared to last night. Last night was incredibly quick and humongous movements. And so we just had to adjust. And you'll see how I adjust when I enter a trade. I'll adjust my take profit, my stop loss. That's probably the best adjustment just based on the distances. But this last drop here, it hovered here for a while. I entered here. I thought I had a good entry, meaningful movement down. Kind of started coming up, dropped here, started coming back up, and then just dropped off the table. And so if we pull back now to 5 seconds and zoom out, look at it was here, and then part of it. So it makes it challenging and fun, right? So we'll go back to the 1 second here. So to recap, I'm looking for a divergence between these 2 lines, all right? Separation, essentially like Pac-Man's mouth. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but if you had, the orange line was flat, blue line was heading up, or vice versa. The blue line is the instrument I'm trading. That is gold. It's the value of gold. And the orange line is the Dow Jones. I'm looking for a divergence or separation between these 2 lines. That's going to, and then whichever way the blue line is facing, that's the way I'm trading. That's our where. Down here, the relative strength index. That's the strength of the blue line. This is my entry. So if the blue line is facing downward, I'd want a meaningful pop up in the opposite direction to enter a trade. So for example, whichever way that blue line is facing, whichever way we're going to trade, we want a meaningful movement in the opposite direction of that white line. Essentially, we're looking for a discount. That's what we're looking for before we enter the trade. Do you make a 5th or more if by the 4th trade you haven't reached your 3? No, I have Junior asked if do you make a 5th or more if by the 4th trade you haven't reached your daily profit? I have an amount of 4 trades I trade. I don't look at necessarily daily profit. I look at the process, right? Making sure I'm hitting my setups. I have my profit of 100 TP and 100 stop loss, but that's how I look at it and what my setups are, right? Look at the amount of trades I take. And that's important for me because I typically, once I get over 4 trades, the market has a way of mesmerizing you, right? So once I get over 4 trades, I tend to not do as well. Great question, though. Erica said, I fell asleep and got stomped out for minus 44. No. What? Yeah, it's that slow. And it's just, let me do this. Let's go out to 15 seconds. See, look, climbing, enter here. And then it shoots down. Look at the drop. So now we know the trend, right? We just don't have any separation between these two lines. We know the trend. We don't have any separation. We don't have anything. We don't have our setup. We got to make sure we follow the process and be process dependent, not outcome dependent. We look at it, look, we try to trade in probabilities. That's our goal. And then, of course, one trade doesn't define you. You're looking at 30 trades, 50 trades, right? That's kind of how you're looking at it. Not just one trade, but multiple trades. Right? One trade doesn't define you. So you have to look at it that way. And you're going to lose. Definitely going to lose. And you have to, be comfortable losing and review the trades, journal, and things like I do after, when I do that after tonight, I'll write the trades down. I like to take screenshots of the entries. I do think this entry was pretty good based on what I was looking for. But sometimes just don't work out. But that's why we trade in probabilities. Thank you for being here. Have any questions, put them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get to all of them. If you're on YouTube, click the link in the description. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, type learn in the comment section. We'll send you a free ticket to the web class where you can click it, register, and get all your questions answered live. Yeah, this is very slow. Normally I'm out here for almost an hour. If it's going to continue to be slow, I may call it an early night. It's just tough to, trade this way when it's this slow. It's just, it hasn't been this slow in quite a while. Slow, but not this slow. And yesterday was a complete opposite as far as the size of movements, as far as the speed that it was moving. And so we need to make sure that, I need to make sure that I'm adjusting and comfortable trading. Yep, the twin trends. Yeah. You're welcome, Andrew. Yeah, the trend switched downwards big time. If you look at here, we'll go out to, you look at 5 seconds, right? Look at that. And then if you just look at where it went. So we had a trend, going up for a while, then boom, I enter here and it starts to kind of go flat, looks to start to go up and then shoots down. Things you look at, right? And you have to take time to get your process down and trade the simplified gold pattern. We're looking for the relationship between the 3 lines and we do our best to trade in probabilities, right? And that's what we do. And, but you're going to lose and you have to get comfortable losing. I do pretty good. When I first started trading, that was tough for me. Mindset losing, is, nobody likes to lose, right? But, you have to understand that it's variance to trading, right? It's not you. It's just you trade the best possible trade and see what happens, right? Take your hand off the mouse and let it go and do the best you can, and then we'll see. And so we have a nice way of simplifying this, right, to where we don't have a bunch of oscillators, a bunch of screens, and things like that. This is great for busy people that want to trade, that have life's full-time jobs like myself, kids, family, and pick time to trade. And that's why the futures market is great because it's open 23 hours. You can pick multiple times to trade, and so it allows you that flexibility and to get comfortable. And like I said, there was a question earlier about what's the best time to trade. It's really up to you based on your schedule and really what time allows you to get in one of the best mindsets, right? Where you're comfortable, where you're relaxed, and you're really kind of focused. It's kind of the best way that I can explain it. And of course, now the one thing I will say about this slower movement time frame is the fact that if you're newer to trading, this slow movement it can actually help you recognize what you're looking for. The pattern helps you may adjust some things, right? So this being this slow now is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Especially if you're newer. During the day, especially near open market, 9:30, but more so during the day between 9:30 and 4, when it can get pretty fast moving, pretty big movements. So it does give you some comfortability if you're newer to trade at this time frame, or a slower time frame, right? Early morning. Hmm. Looks like the drop started stopping a little bit. Give it some time to kind of reestablish itself. Junior says, my problem where I have blown the accounts is sometimes I hit the goal too early and go back for more, being greedy. Listen, I understand that. And I think that, oh, Andrew, you're welcome. You're new. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. I understand that, Junior. And there's so many different things that affect people blowing their accounts, their the fund accounts or whatever accounts they're trading with, or their evals or whatever. And it comes down to different mindsets, right? Losing, or greedy, or revenge trading, or FOMO, or fear of missing out. There's so many things that are involved. And one thing trading teaches you is you definitely learn yourself. You definitely learn yourself, your reaction to losing. You definitely learn yourself as far as your mindset in a variety of ways. And that's such a great point. Such a great point. Doesn't look like it's going to speed up. So earlier I talked about, being on a 1 second chart because our trades go pretty quick. This is not an example of that. And this is a 1 second chart, which is the quickest possible chart. But, that last trade I was in was quite a long time, right? Quite a long time, much longer than I'm used to. And, that's an adjustment, but that makes it challenging and fun at the same time. But being this slow sometimes can make it tough, especially if you're used to being faster. Definitely have to have a lot more patience. And like I said, if you're newer and you haven't traded before, Andrew says, is there a set price to start or depends on yourself? I'm not sure what you are referring to, but so while we're waiting for hopefully another trade, maybe not, may not come, but I'm trading a funded account through a prop firm, right? And so what that is, what a prop firm is the best way that I can explain it is, prop firm, you thought of like having a rich uncle who lets you trade his money for a fee with a cutoff if you lose too much, but generous with the profits that if you do make. So it basically, it is a firm that makes money off fees of people trying to exceed passing trading challenges. So let's say you buy an eval account or a challenge account for, let's say, $50, right? And you start at 50K, assimilated funds, of course, and you have to get this number here, typically to a certain threshold of 53K. Once you get to 53K, you've proven that you can trade well, and then they'll give you what's called a funded account. You have to buy a funded account or whatever the prop firm rules are. You have to get a funded account. I'm trading a funded account currently, right? So once you get a funded account, you also have another threshold to hit, but then when you can start taking what's called payouts. So my goal is to get this number here to 53,000 so I can take my first payout with all of you on this account. Now, with that being said, you also have a maximum loss limit too. If typically a lot of prop firms are 2,000. So if you start at 50K and this number goes to 48,000, you lose the account and you'd have to buy another one. But you don't, it's not like you're losing $2,000. You're just losing the $50 or the $100, whatever you paid for it, right? And so I actually bypassed the challenge account and just went right to a funded account. I think I paid $239 for this funded account to bypass the challenge account, which some prop firms do offer that. So I know it's a confusing concept, but you're not trading your own capital, which is nice. The only money you would lose if you blow the account would be the money that you paid for that account. right? And so it is confusing, but if you go to the 20-Minute Trader YouTube channel and you type in prop firms, and Jeremy Russell does a great job of explaining it more in depth. Essentially, yeah, it's simulated funds. And so, yeah, you're not trading your own money. So you buy the account and you use that account to trade with, right? In different prices, and there's different prop firms and things like that. But like I say, the YouTube channel, type in prop firms, the 20-Minute Trader YouTube channel explains it in great depth. So you'll be able to get an idea about that, right? Which is nice because you're not, again, but you can also, before you know it, spend a ton of, a lot of money like buying accounts, right? So you have to be aware of that as well, but you're not using your own capital, which is a benefit. Well, let's see. Rio from Texas. Looks like it's starting to climb back up the trend. Well, yeah, they all have different charges, Junior. If you to recover a funded account, yeah, I've seen that. I think I got my account from Top One Futures. I think they were having an anniversary special or something. I don't know if it's still going on now, but yeah, all the prop firms have different. Of course, there's rules involved in each prop firm and different costs for accounts, but you can look at all those and check out that prop firm on the 20-Minute Trader YouTube channel. Thank you all for being here. I took one trade today. It didn't work out. It's super slow. You can see it's very choppy. The only time it wasn't slow is when I was in a trade and went right down here and hit my stop loss and knocked me out. Probably not going to make another trade. You can see the distances it's even traveling and how slow it is. So you have to make those calls. A lot of times it doesn't work out. It's okay if you don't trade. Look, even if I wouldn't have traded tonight, you can say, hey, I still took a position, and that position is not trading, not making another trade. So my position now is not making another trade, and that's okay. It's not always going to work out if you don't feel comfortable or your mindset's not right, or if it's just moving to where it's so slow or it just doesn't feel right. So, and that's okay. It's a constant work in progress with your process with yourself and what times you trade and with all the other stuff going on in our lives, right? Kids and family and mindset and track and baseball and different things. So thank you all for being here. I am going to sign off. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow night. Oh, by the way, I was supposed to have a guest tonight, but I just talked about how, with life's hurdles, she had a work deadline. She's a student with 20-Minute Trader. So we're rescheduling for next week. She is another student. And so, it's part of it, right? Sometimes trading comes after your, all of that. You have another job, and obviously your family and friends and things that you have going on come first. And so what's great about 20-Minute Trader is it's for everybody. It's easy to learn, and you can trade on the futures market. Like I said, it gives you the flexibility of time. And so, yeah, so she'll be on next Wednesday. And her name is Jessica, and she is a student as well. Tomorrow night, I will be traveling into DC, and my godson may be on with me tomorrow night. He'll sit by me. He's 21, and so knows nothing about trading, but he may be on with me tomorrow night. Thank you all for being here, and all of you have a great night. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. See you. Take care. Bye.